Star Wars Rebels Season 3, Episode 10, Visions and Voices. Of course, Darth Maul is always awesome, but man, they went all out with this episode because I don't remember when I said this, but I was like, at some point, with Darth Maul being in the series, he has to die. And if there's any person that I personally feel deserves to kill Darth Maul, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. And they finally did that in this episode, because I'm like, there's no one better to kill Darth Maul than Obi-Wan Kenobi. They had, of course, if you've seen The Phantom Menace, whether you like it or not, Darth Maul kills Qui-Gon Jinn, so Obi-Wan instantly has that rivalry. Of course, it seems to end in the film, because, of course, Darth Maul gets split in half, but they're like, you know what, let's change that up. Clone Wars comes out, and it's just rivalry for, I don't know how many seasons. I'm pretty sure he was in there for like 2 or 3 seasons, and he'd show up every once in a while until like that last season. He was basically like half of the bad stuff going on. And they kind of reference all of that in this episode, which I loved. And they did it again, which I hope they don't take this away too, because we still haven't seen Sabine with that jetpack. But they gave her the Mandalorian saber from the Clone Wars, and I was like, that's freaking great, because I was happy when she got the jetpack, and then they shot it, and we haven't heard any reference of her, fixing it or anything like that. And now she has the Mandalorian saber, which was always one of my favorite things, because it's a lightsaber, but it's black with a white light, and I always thought that looked amazing. So now she has that. Hopefully, she ends up learning how to use it really well, and we get to see her utilize that a lot. But I was so happy to see that. She picked that up at the end of the episode. The references that they made, they have like the distorted sort of mosaic-like drawing of the, I believe she was a flat-out queen from Clone Wars that Obi-Wan had a relationship with, or was kind of in a relationship with, of course, because Jedi aren't supposed to have relationships, which is kind of why that was so phenomenal when they had that little arc. But they referenced a bunch of stuff. They talked about the Night Sisters, and they go back to Darth Maul's planet and stuff, and it's all destroyed and distorted, and the spirits still exist, and they give them the answers that they seek, which ends up being, how to destroy the Sith is basically the same answer as, where is the person that I want to kill? So it's all Obi-Wan. And they don't know where Tatooine is, because of course it's just a planet with 2 suns, which, as Sabine mentioned, like, that doesn't really narrow it down, which I thought was hilarious. I'm like, that is very true. They got the most vague answer that you can get when you can travel through dimensions, or not through dimensions, throughout galaxies. You get a planet with 2 suns. It's like, great, how am I supposed to figure that out? It wasn't even like a sand planet with 2 suns. It was just a planet with 2 suns, and that was it. I was like, okay, I don't know how long. That's an easy way for it to take a long time. That's basically why they did that. It's like, alright, we'll say this is where you gotta go, but make it so vague that they won't figure it out for like another 5 episodes into like the season finale. So of course that's how that's gonna play out. But the fact that it was introduced is all I really needed to hear, because I'm like, I knew it was gonna happen. I was like, if anyone does it, it has to be Obi-Wan that kills Darth Maul. Their rivalry cannot end with someone else killing Darth Maul. And of course, we know Obi-Wan survives, so we know how that's going to play out for Maul, unless they totally change it and they don't end up killing each other, which I don't see how that could even be the case, because that's the only thing Darth Maul wants. Is like, you know what? I killed his master. He chopped me in half. I had a million other issues in between then and now, so of course he's going to try to go kill him, and Obi-Wan's going to be super awesome like he is, and he's going to win. So don't know how long it's going to take for them to give us that, but I cannot wait to see that happen. I figured it would, and I was hoping that it would, that they eventually bring him in, and I was so happy to hear them say his name. And I was like, they finally did it. He's coming in. Even outside of that, this actual episode had a ton of action to it. The beginning was great because Darth Maul is on their planet, and Ezra's seeing him, and everybody else is trying to help him out. And he's having these visions, and he's like passing out and stuff. And then they go to Bandu, and then it's like, yeah, there he is. Like, if you don't want to see him, don't turn around, and he's actually there. And it was just great all the way through. And then we get a great sequence at the end after they get their answers. The Night Sisters basically want to take spirits, or take the flesh and blood of whoever, because they are owed a debt now. And Sabine and Kanan get taken over, and so we get like a crazy lightsaber duel between Kanan Darth Maul, and then Kanan and Ezra, and then we have Sabine shooting at him, and then she's also using the Mandalorian blade for a little bit, and it was just great. I was like, there's just lightsabers going off, they're using the Force. Um, Darth Maul is Darth Maul, so he's like, all right, well, sucks for them, I'm out. And then Ezra has to save his friends. But I love the way they did that, where he goes in and he ends up rescuing Sabine because he like fights her, and then he like uses the Force to push her out as she's the Night Sister Spirit is trying to claw herself back into the temple. So he's able to save Sabine, and then he goes in to save Kanan, and it was just great. Like first they actually have to fight each other, so that was really cool. And then eventually he is able to save him, and they of course they both escape. But he uses the lightsaber and the Mandalorian blade together to basically destroy. I don't even know what I call it. It looked like it was just like an operating table. Honestly, it was just like a tablet. But he destroys the obelisk, I'll call it, and that basically wipes away the spirits. Everybody's safe, and it's like, all right, we have this random answer. We have to find Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's on the planet with 2 suns. Super vague. And Sabine gets the Mandalorian blade. So phenomenal freaking episode. I don't know if this is the last one for the year, if this was like, whatever they're going to do, mid-season finale or whatever. But it was fantastic. Every episode with Darth Maul I always want to see. I think I mentioned before, the last time he was in it, I felt it was a little lackluster. I was like, he did some cool stuff in there. There were some cool scenes, but it kind of just flew by and not much really happened. I felt like it was a big thing at the end when they do combine the holocrons. But I didn't feel like it was the biggest thing ever. And this episode was kind of what I was hoping for when he first showed up in the season, where I was like, this is what I wanted from Darth Maul, where it's insane. Like, he takes in Ezra. Of course, the whole time he's like, you're my apprentice and stuff. And I love how he kept saying that, no matter what Ezra was saying, is like, come my apprentice and stuff like that. So that I really loved. I don't know if he's going to still do that. I assume he is, because I feel like he's still going to try to bring him over no matter what. Especially now that he knows, like, hey, our destinies are meant to converge, on the same person. They, kind of like how they needed each other now. They don't need each other, but they can certainly use each other as resources. They're like, all right, now we know where to go. But of course, they want to find Obi-Wan for basically opposite reasons. So, I don't know how it's going to play out, but this was the episode that I wanted from Darth Maul. I was like, this is great. We got to see Darth Maul. We got to see a cool lightsaber fight. We got to see, some great references to the Clone Wars, to Obi-Wan in general. They say his name. So we're getting Obi-Wan Kenobi. We have Sabine. Basically, she's going full Mandalorian. I mean, they got her the jetpack. She just got to fix it. And now she has a Mandalorian blade, which no one ever has anyway. Even in the Clone Wars show, not a ton of people really use it. It was like that one guy that kept coming back in the series that used the Mandalorian blade. So that's really it. Like, even in the Clone Wars, they didn't use it too often, which always disappointed me, because I'm like, man, I wish every Mandalorian used that blade because it was so cool. But now she has that. She's got the jetpack. I feel like that's culminating to something. They're kind of giving her the full Mandalorian treatment, and I just feel like it's leading somewhere with her storyline, where she's like, I've embraced it or whatever. I have these relics of our past and things like that, depending on how many people still have the Mandalorian blades. But I thought it was great. Darth Maul was awesome in this episode. The lightsaber dueling was awesome. Just the story in general was great. Getting the answers was phenomenal. The emotion behind it and what they needed to do, and Darth Maul being his manipulative self, it was all phenomenal. And I cannot wait to see what they do with this. Like I said, with the way they explained it, Planet with 2 Suns, it's probably not going to be for another 4 or 5 more episodes before they even get the answers to where they need to go. Like, hey, it's Tatooine. But I'm very excited. I can't wait to see what they do with this. And this is, like I said, this is what I was hoping for with Darth Maul. Like, every episode with Darth Maul, I want to be exactly like this, where I'm just like, that was amazing, that was great. Because even before, like I said, before the lightsaber stuff even went down, I was like, I love this episode. Ezra was going nuts in the beginning, and he's hallucinating and stuff. And then we find out that they get like reverse information, and that's how Darth Maul even knows where they are. So he kind of blackmails them a little bit, where he'd give up the base otherwise, and just stuff like that. I was like, even pre-lightsaber stuff. Plus, that first sequence when he does show up and he goes down to them, and the first thing Kanan does is pull out his lightsaber. I was like, that's kind of badass. But even before the battle, it was just a great freaking episode. Great callbacks, great new stuff. Just solely like Rebel specific stuff was phenomenal. The callbacks to Clone Wars were really great as well, and Darth Maul and Ezra is just entertaining to watch. Like that weird dynamic of them needing each other, and really Darth Maul wanting Ezra to really join him, and Ezra not wanting to do that, wishing that he could just get everything he needed from, of course, from Kanan, rather than, this Sith dude who just keeps coming back. So, can't wait to see what the next episode with Darth Maul is going to be like, but thought this was great. Of course, would love to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. Actually, my big question for you guys is, how long do you think it'll really take before we get to see Obi-Wan Kenobi in this series? Because it's kind of just a normal TV thing. It's not, Rebel specific. It's all television where they get that half answer or something, and it's like, alright, that's an easy way for us to do these 4 episodes, and then that 5th episode they get the official answer. We might get, hints and clues here and there throughout the next couple episodes where they're getting closer and closer to it. But I definitely want to know how long you guys think it'll take. Personally speaking, I don't know how many episodes we have this season. I really think it's going to be the season finale. They're going to find Obi-Wan Kenobi, or maybe like right before the finale they find him, and then the finale, if they do like last season, we get like an hour-long finale, and it's Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Maul and the Rebels, and probably some Empire stuff, kind of just sprinkled on top of that with Thrawn and everything else. But that's what I'm hoping for. Like I said, I don't know how many episodes we have left in the season or even total. So that's just my prediction. They won't find him until the episode before the finale, and then, or maybe even in the finale, and then that's just how it's going to play out. And I don't know. It's hard to say with them now introducing Obi-Wan. I hate to say it, but I don't know if Darth Maul is going to live past season 3, which is really sad, because he might be my favorite villain. As much as I love Darth Vader, I think Darth Maul is straight up my favorite villain based on the stories that I know. And maybe that's part of it, is like I don't know all the comic stories, of Darth Vader and some of the more epic stuff that he's done outside of like The Force Unleashed, which sadly isn't canon anymore. But, I mean, they kind of screwed that up themselves. I won't get into all that. But, man, I hope he does live, even though he's a horrible, horrible person. I kind of want him to live just because I love him as a villain. But we'll just have to wait and see. Like I said, want to know how long you guys think it'll take before we actually do get Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Maul. And, of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below. Let me know. And thanks for watching.